everyone to iBoxing Hub. This is Aiysha, and I'm here with Fearon. Thank you so much for joining us today. So we've just had the press conference. We know who the fighters are. Talk to me about which is the most exciting fight on the card for you.
Easily, Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua. Easily. Without doubt, it's the most exciting.
And what about the others? I mean, obviously, Hamza Shiraz had an amazing performance in his last fight. There's so many of them. Joshua Buatsi, some really amazing fighters here. Is there anyone else that really excites you in watching them in their next?
You know what? I quite like the Kakachi fight. Simply because I know Josh Wharton, even though they think he's an old war horse as well, but you know his style is very aggressive. But I could see Kakachi knocking him out, because his style is to come forward. Kakachi really does hit hard. Doesn't get given the credit of how hard he hits, but he really does hit really hard. I was speaking to Carl Frampton a few days ago, and Carl Frampton was saying, that brother could really punch. His record doesn't suggest it, but he can really hit. Joshua Buatsi versus Willie Hutchinson, I find a very, very intriguing fight, simply because Hutchinson shocked me by beating Craig Richards. I didn't think he could beat Craig Richards, and he did. So yeah, that's a very good fight. The whole card's very good. Happy for Hamza Shiraz. I'm really, really happy for Tyler Denny. For him, this is a world title fight. Simply because economically he's won. So I'm really, really happy for him. So yeah, we'll see all the rest of the stuff and what happens off of the back of that. We'll see.
There was 3 options potentially for Anthony Joshua. Do you think the best of the 3 have been picked?
I think the best has been for the simple fact that the economy of Great Britain will help. It will help the economy. It will help Wembley. At Wembley, 2 bricks. It will help. Those kinds. It will help. People are going to get paid. That's great. People in the area, in the vicinity, they're going to get paid. You know what I mean? It's got to be great that people are coming out. Then that's a good thing, right? And I think it's fitting that the money literally stays here. And that's what it's doing. The money's literally staying here from big up His Excellency Turki Alalshikh for bringing it in. But the money stays here.
Obviously, this is the first time I think Riyadh season has come to the UK.
Yep.
What does that mean for British boxing, do you think?
Oh, it's amazing. And let's just call it as it is. And I know Turki Alalshikh's office watch everything that I say and what I say on the fight is right, because there's certain things that I've said and they've made it come into fruition. So I said, well, are these guys bugging me, or are they actually? No, I'm really happy because I can put things out and to the level-headed boxing person think, right, that makes great sense, and they make it happen. So because of that, then this is me living a dream, man. This is me. It's beautiful to see. Beautiful to see.
In terms of the up-and-coming heavyweights now, obviously we've got the Anthony Joshuas and the Tyson Furies, who are quite close to maybe leaving the sport now. What do you think about the up-and-coming heavyweights, and do you think that they'll have the same sort of draw that the others have had?
No, it's going to be very, very difficult to have the same draw as what Anthony Joshua has had, simply because Anthony Joshua being groomed for this position. Right? And let's just call it as it is. He's the stars were aligned when he came along, because a few years ago, everyone's saying he was washed up. He's proved to everyone he's not washed up, right? He's anything but washed up. Especially if you look at the climate of heavyweights, what's going on it's a trust me, for the next generation coming through, it's going to be interesting to see how they come through. But right now, for Anthony Joshua, his brother's on fire, man. And the next guy's coming up, you know what I mean? Gerard Anderson. I'm gonna be real with you. Gerard Anderson's got his plate full against Martin McCauley. I spoke to his manager yesterday, Jay Prince, and Jay Prince said, no, we want that fight. I said, brother, it's me you're talking to. He said, I know master knowledge, but and I'm saying, brother, that's not an easy fight. Martin McCauley, they need to leave that brother alone, that little tough back African. They want to leave him alone. That's being real. He's tough, and he's African.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So a great card, and it's going to be a great evening. Just quickly before you go, in terms of Anthony Yarde, do you have any comments about what's happened in terms of his career? Obviously, the fight with Joshua Buatsi wasn't made. Is this like a upset for you that that fight wasn't made for him?
Listen, everything is a sign and a line for the time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordains it to happen. We are nothing but fragments of dust in the time or space. If it is to happen, we have to say inshallah. You know what I mean? And if it doesn't happen, we have to say alhamdulillah. Right? It's as simple as that. Right? I cannot sit down and give an honest opinion on the Anthony Yarde and Joshua Buatsi situation. But what you have to know is that the truth tastes bitter to a belly full of lies. So if I was to come with truth, certain people are going to counteract my truth because it's upset them. But that's mainly because the God inside me upsets the devil inside a lot of people. And a lot of people are little shaitans running up and down right now. You got to be careful. Go watch it. Hey, Astaghfirullah. Yeah. Right, so we don't know. So I'm saying it would have been so happy for me or pleasing for me to see like Anthony Yarde on that stage. But unfortunately, he's not on that stage. But I know they've got some big things coming their way, which I'm not permitted to talk about. And let's see what happens from there.
Inshallah. Lastly, Eddie Hearn sees Anthony Joshua becoming undisputed. Do you see that potentially happening as well?
There is, we have to know we've got to deal with potentiality and actuality. Big up Johnny Nelson. 1 second, Johnny. Right. Big up Johnny Nelson. Right, but I'm saying that's what we've got to deal with. When we're dealing with actuality and potentiality, he has the potential to do that. I really do believe that, especially now. But if we're dealing with the actuality is that Usyk has beaten Daniel Dubois and beaten Anthony Joshua twice. But I believe a lot of us are dealing with perspective vision, right? And a lot of us deal with the actual vision that we see. But if we're dealing with the perspective, my interpretation is going to be different from somebody else's. I think that Anthony Joshua has the capabilities to come back and become undisputed heavyweight champion. Especially now, Turki Alalshikh's making all of the fights happen. So you got nowhere to run. Do your graft, do your work, and let's see what happens. All right, my sis?
Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for your time.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All right, assalamu alaikum.